Hey guys, welcome back to another Reddit post video, and we have another couple of posts, so enjoy. Let's get started. Okay, so this Reddit post, I really do feel sorry for this guy because his auntie, or aunt, in America is probably called aunt, uh, wasn't a really nice person to him. It's just a game, you know? So, this took place about 2 months ago during my family's New Year's Eve party. About 30 people showed up, including my favorite cousin, we are both 14, and his aunt who lived in another province 7 hours away. They show up at my house and me and my cousin, let's call him Jack, head down to my basement to play on my PS4. Jack doesn't have any video games at home, and EA, or entitled aunt, gives him limited access to their TV, so he was very excited to get to play on a PS4. I showed him the games I had, and he chose NHL 19. Now that isn't exactly a game that you can learn in 5 minutes, but I jumped into practice mode to show him the basic controls and stuff so we can play a game. After I taught him the controls, we started the game. I randomized the teams and we ended up getting New Jersey Devils versus Ottawa Senators. Now both of those teams are a complete dumpster fire in real life, but New Jersey was higher rated in the game, so Jack decided to play as them. We started the game. I was smoking him 6-0, and we were barely past the halfway point of the first period. This is where EA comes downstairs to check on us. What are you playing? Me, NHL 19. Oh, okay. How do you like it, Jack? Best thing ever. Interesting. What is your team name? The New Jersey Devils. Now, I should mention that EA is a very religious person, and she goes absolutely nuts when someone uses words like devil or anything else that she considers unholy. So at this point, when with the word devils being shown on the scoreboard in the arena, all hell breaks loose. Shrieks, "What monster could create such a thing?" She then grabs Jack and drags him upstairs while shouting a bunch of gibberish directed at either me or the game. I'm in kind of a state of shock when I hear EA stomping down the stairs and she runs up to me. "How dare you expose my son to such levels of sin? You and your parents should be ashamed of this." I'm not sure what you want me to do about this." "Well, I'll do something about this then." She then runs into my dad's workshop and I hear her rummaging through some drawers. My dad and a few other relatives have now started to make their way downstairs to see what the commotions were about, but little did we know that the trouble was just starting. EA comes running out of the workshop and lobs a hammer, and by lobs I mean absolutely puts a whole ability into the throw, and at the TV. The TV, as you would expect, shatters and the screen goes black. At this point I am furious, as I had just gotten that TV as a Christmas present less than a week earlier. "What the flying F did you just do to my TV?" "I destroyed it for corrupting my son. Video games are the work of the devil." "I don't care who they're the work of. You owe my parents $1,400 for the TV." "Dad, I swear to God, if it wasn't for the 25 people watching me, I will break your fragile effing little neck. I'm not paying for anything because I saved your child from corruption. You should be paying me. The only thing that's corrupted you here is your brain." Now, this is where it really takes off. I'm part black, and by part, I mean my dad is white and my mom is black. But this didn't stop my aunt from using the hard R against me. "Shut your mouth, you little N-word." Everyone gasps. "The F did you say to me, you little... If I wanted to smash your skull, you effing little whore," because of the fact that she had 7 children. At this point, some other realities separate us, and I head off to my room and didn't come out until everyone left. After this, my aunt refused to pay for the TV, and we settled out of court to pay for the replacement. However, neighbors of EA later called CPS on her for making one of the kids sleep outside when it was minus 20 degrees Celsius. What? CPS stepped in and took her kids away. We are currently the foster parents of Jack, and we are considering legally adopting him soon. So in a nutshell, don't be the aunt that throws the effing hammer at the TV No one calls their nephew the N-word. It's actually so sad. But I feel good about Jack. He has some good parents now. Okay, this person's aunt wanted her child to be playing with a drawing tablet. These things are generally quite expensive, so let's see what happens. First of all, yes, I made this account just to post this. So a bit of backstory. My aunt, the entitled parent in the story, has always been an arsehole to me, but I couldn't do anything about it, so I hate her from the bottom of my heart already. She has a kid of her own, and she visits us, me and my mom, sometimes. I always stay in my own room when they visit because I hate them. I also have my own drawing tablet with a large screen that cost a lot, and when I mean a lot, I mean like a lot. It took a lot of time to save money for it, so it would be the worst thing ever if it broke, as I do not have the money to replace it. I'm also trans, and my mum supports it a lot, but my aunt doesn't, and is highly against it. You already know it's going to be a part in the story. So, let's get back to the episode, the EP story. I was 16 years old when my mum, MM, told me, brackets me, that my aunt, EP, and her entitled 6-year-old child, EC, were going to visit us. I told her the usual, that I'll stay in my room and I don't want to talk to them. My mum knows that I don't like them, but she can't do anything about it. When my aunt entered the house, I already heard his EC screaming like it's the end of days. I hoped for the best that they wouldn't come into my room as it happened before. I decided drawing with my tablet, and about 20 to 40 minutes later, I hear the entitled child enter my room. What are you doing here? Can you please get out? Yes, I was a little bit of a cunt, but I tried to be nice. The EC walks to me and takes my drawing tablet's pen from my table quickly. Hey, give it back, it's not a toy. The entitled child starts to scream like a siren. My aunt comes running into my room while I still sit on my chair. What did you do to my son? Why is he crying? She yells. He took my pen and I told him to give it back because it's not a toy. That's all, I say calmly as possible. The pen drops to the floor while the entitled child is on my floor, crying. You will let my son play with it. I ordered you to. She yells at me. I bought it with my own money. I pick up my pen and put it back on the table. Come over here, she tells me when she is walking out of my room. I get out of my chair and follow her as I can't fight back. I left my chair on the lowest, as my table wasn't that tall. It was a horrible idea. You're very mean. You should let my son play with your tablet. It's not like you need it anyway. My aunt tells me I use my tablet to draw. That thing cost €1,200, and that's a lot actually. That's like £1,000 here, which is like a grand, no, around $900. Still a lot. I can't let your son play with it, I answer. My mom walks upstairs to the corridor where we are arguing. What's going on here? My mom asks both of us. Your terrible son won't let my child to play with his tablet, she yells. I bought it, I told you, and stop calling me son and he, for God's sake. You already know this. I was extremely pissed off, and mostly just about her saying that I'm terrible. You and your transgender bullshit. You are a boy and you'll always be one, my aunt says. My mom gets mad at her and tells them both to F right off. As we enter our room, the entitled child is standing on my chair, hitting my table extremely hard with my pen. I get him off from the chair as quick as I can. The pen broke and the table has some scratches. Yes, he hit so hard that he broke the pen. After they left, I was really sad. Gladly, a couple of days later, I bought another pen. The scratches didn't really bother me. My aunt still won't say sorry or even care about the fact that her son broke my pen. My aunt doesn't visit us that much anymore as well. And that's it. No really happy ending or anything like that. I guess my tip is that keep your doors locked and your chairs up. And tell your mom if your aunt is a cunt. I really do feel sorry for this person. I mean, even though she's a family member, I would have, honestly, got to court somehow and get my money back, because that is a lot of money, especially on a drawing tablet. Now, this Reddit story is really quite sad, and you'll see when you read it, and when I read it to you guys. So, to get to the point, my autistic younger brother, who was turning 7, was holding a birthday party at our house, but he couldn't really choose who to invite to the party. So we just decided to invite everyone in his class, and because everyone was so young, my parents decided to recommend that the parents come too for some coffee in a separate room. I was 19 at the time and decided to help organize the games and activities for my brother. The first game we played was a game where I would play some music and everyone would uh, end up with a present at the end, by rigging it, of course. But of course that didn't work out. Maybe in the middle of the game, a young girl who we'll just refer to Brittany because that's my least favourite girl name. No offence to any Brittany's out there, who, keep in mind, had just won before, held onto the parcel and refused to hand it around. I asked her why, and her only reason was she didn't like the present she got. Thinking to myself that it was just a kid being a kid, I asked her if she would like another present and gave her a different parcel, which she thankfully liked. Although I thought she was a little bratty at that point, nothing prepared for me for what happened next. Fast forward a bit, it's time to cut the cake. The adults come out from their own private room and prepare to celebrate while I brought out the cake from the fridge and lit the candles. We began singing the happy birthday song, but before we can finish the word happy, Brittany starts screaming at the top of her lungs, "Mom! I want to blow the candles!" "No, sweetie, this isn't your birthday." Brittany, insert surprise Pikachu face. I guess she was just used to getting everything from her mum because she exploded into a fit as if she was dying or something. Despite this, I gestured to my brother to blow the candles out, and he did, with a bright smile on his face. "Mom, can I cut the cake, please?" "Okay, sure." She reached out for the knife, but I grabbed it first. I pulled it behind my back and told her that my younger brother was going to cut it himself. Honestly, I was surprised that the mother gave up that quickly on her child. Well, entitled mother began pleading with my parents. I looked around for Brittany but didn't see her. I assumed she had gone to the toilet or to weep or something, so I just gave my brother the knife. While this was happening, entitled mother began talking about how my brother didn't deserve to cut the cake because he was autistic and probably wouldn't even remember or appreciate it. Although I was pretty effing irritated, I held it in so that my brother could just enjoy his birthday. He looked pretty startled at the heated conversation between my parents and EM, so I smiled at him comfortingly like any normal sister would. He reached into the cake, but before he could even cut a slice, a large knife, much larger than the steel cake knife, came rushing down, and ear-deafening ding sound followed. And it took me a while to see the blood on the knife, and even worse, the top of my brother's index finger lying on the cake. I screamed pretty loudly, and I think it took another extra minute or two for my parents to realize too. What happened next was pretty personal, but basically Brittany's defense was that she was trying to cut the cake before my younger brother, which was pathetic. The mother worsened the situation by stating that my brother was autistic and shouldn't even be alive. I was really hurt by that, and this was the maddest thing I've seen my parents, who were actually quite chill people. I realized that I talk about this like it happened years ago, but it only actually happened last week. My brother is recovering, and my parents are deciding whether or not to take legal action if they can. If it makes you feel any better, Brittany was forced to quit the school due to harassment she received from other students, and although she was really a retard, I blame it on the pathetic excuse of the mother. Thanks for reading, and hope your finger doesn't get chopped off by an EK. It's actually really sad. Like you can't. I don't know if this story is really true, but if it is true, it's mortifying, really. Okay, so this Reddit post is about a person having a really nice classic car and getting offered around a really cheap price for it. So, let me start off by saying that the outcome of this probably won't be super exciting and doesn't involve much except for basic drama, but I thought it was so absurdly ridiculous that it was worth posting. Apologies for any formatting problems. I'm on a cell phone. Now, anyone that knows me or has met me before winter made me park it, road salt sucks, knows that I have a nearly fully restored 1981 Chevrolet Camaro Z28 in bright yellow. I'll just have a picture of a 1981 Camaro Z28 now. I bought it off some dude going through a divorce as a half-finished project. It wasn't in bad shape, but the interior was bombed out and had some sloppy work that needed correcting. No big deal for me since I'm a mechanic by trade. It's my first real project and the first car I owned that wasn't a hand-me-down from my grandparents, and I am proud of it. Last November, I was stopped at gas on my way home from work for some gas. About 30-50, it is thirsty. Be long. And an after work snack when I see a dude, ED, or entitled dad, in his mid-40s to early 50s, walk over to eye up my ride. There's nothing new to me. These late second-gen Camaros are rare to see in my region, and is painted an eye-catching colour. I pay for my chips and soda, walk on over, and strike up a conversation. Turns out his first car was a '79 Berlinetta. Another picture of it now, and we talked shop for a while. That is, until this prissy-looking teenage girl, EB, walks up beside him. Then he looks at me, looks back at my car, then back to me and asks, "It's definitely beautiful. How much do you want for it?" What? How much do you want for the car? I can give you cash or check if you prefer. Proceeds to whip out his checkbook and a stuffed money full of Benjamins. Sorry, dude, it's not for sale. Puts on his best buddy smile. Come on, everything has a price. I can do $6 grand right here. Holds back laughter since the engine alone it costs $6K. Yeah, sure. I'll sell you a car with $14,000 of work, while valued at 23,000 for $6 grand. And while you're at it, I'll have a bridge to sell to you too. At this point, EB chimes in. EB tugging on ED's sleeve. Daddy, you said you'd buy me a nice car. I want a cool car. ED strokes his daughter's hair and quietly says something to the effect of, "Don't worry, sweetie, we'll get you this one." Turns back to me. Can't you cut us a little slack for the lovely lady? No, still not for sale. Now getting visibly irritated. You're going to refuse to sell me a car for my daughter? Really? You should just get rid of it. Look at how dirty you are. That car is too nice for someone like you. I bet you don't even know how to take care of it. Yeah, this car is too cool for you. Now I'm getting angry. Like I mentioned before, I'm a mechanic. I'm coming home from work, still in my work clothes, with an ASE patch on my shoulder, with a bit of grime on my arms and face from a long day of fixing other people's S-boxes. There should be no mistaking that I know how to take care of my ride, or so I thought. Sir, I've done all the work to this car, opened the engine and transmission in it. I've rebuilt the suspension, I've detailed the paint, and I restored the interior all on my own. I think I know how to take care of the vehicle I basically rebuilt from the ground up. No, you didn't. That work looks too good for you to have done it. Yeah, I did. Whatever, just sell it. You can find another project. Let me think. No. Now take your daughter and get lost. I'm not budging. At this point, EB is whining to Daddy that he said he would sell it, and I thought I maybe saw a tear in her eye, and then ED turned red in the face and started tearing into me about how I was selfish, about how his little girl deserved the car more than I ever did, and then jabs that I probably made the whole thing up about being a project and that I probably stole it. Now I will definitely not sell it to you. After all, your brat will probably wreck it in a couple of weeks anyway. Now I'm tired and I'm going to go home. At this point, I'm opening the door and getting in while they both are screaming every insult in the book at me. While I just ignore it, I wasn't lying when I said I was tired, and now I wanted to go home and have a beer. Now I forgot to mention that this gas station happens to be situated at a country border, next to an exit ramp from a very busy interstate. It's a local hangout for the state police and sheriff deputies from both counties, and guess who just rolled in? A sheriff's deputy from the county I work in. The same deputy who entrusts me with their patrol car's maintenance, who I've become quick friends with, and is friends with everyone at work, and got glimpses into the progress of my Camaro. We'll call him Sheriff Friend, or SF. He notices the two screaming at me and walks over to ask what the problem was. ED looks at me and gives a little smirk on his face. Officer, I'd like to report that kid's car is stolen, and I'd like to press charges for calling my daughter a brat. SF looks at me, then at the car and bursts out laughing. Sir, this car definitely belongs to him. I've seen him working on it before at the shop he works at. Wrench it. Turns to me. Wrench it. Are these fools giving you a hard time? Yeah, they're flipping out because I won't sell it to them. Really? Yep. Turns back around to face Edie. Sir, you gave him an offer and he refused. You then proceeded to verbally abuse him. Worse than the jab he made at your daughter. I believe you should just leave. Ed looked shocked, and his mouth imitated the goldfish for a few seconds, before he hangs his head and mutters an okay, and walks off with Evie, now wailing that she didn't get my car in tow. I thank him, and we say our goodbyes. And just as a final jab, I cue up "You Can't Always Get What You Want" by the Rolling Stones as I start to pull out. Edie immediately recognizes the song I was playing and flipped me off. Yeah, nobody got arrested or got the piss beaten out of them, but it was easily was one of the most surreal moments I've ever had in my life. Oh, and I had a nice relaxing drive home after that and a quiet evening watching TV. Well, that was a big story. At least it turned out good in the end. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and in the next video I'm most likely making a Sony Vegas tutorial. So stay tuned for that, and as always, stay hydrated. Go.